well today. Yeah. Good to see you. Okay, so now we have deputations by appointment. We have the several deputations by appointment. I'd first like to welcome Jared, who's on Zoom. I see him there. He'll be speaking on behalf of the Gaming Machine Association as well as Pub Charity Limited in relation to item 12, the review of the gambling and TAB venues policy. Welcome, Jared.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. So I'm speaking on behalf of the Gaming Machine Association, which represents the vast majority of New Zealand's gaming machine societies, and also this morning on behalf of Pub Charity, which is one of the largest Class 4 operators in New Zealand and has the largest number of machines in operation in Christchurch City. Just in relation to my next slide, please. What we're asking Council to do is to put the gambling venue policy out for public consultation and include as part of that consultation the option of including a relocation provision. A provision that enables venues to relocate out of high deprivation areas, provision that would enable venues to relocate out of residential areas or relocate if they're close to a sensitive site such as a school, a place of worship, or other community facility. Next slide, please. The current policy has been in force since 2004. It has been rolled over again and again and again without the formal public consultation process. And this is now the 6th consecutive time that that's occurred. Since 2004, I've been going to all the various council hearings throughout New Zealand, and I'm not aware of any other council in New Zealand that's looked to roll over their policy for that length of time. Some councils might roll them over once or twice, but certainly not aware of any council looking to roll policy over a 6th or 7th time. Next slide, please. I had the privilege of reading Council's significance and engagement policy that was developed in 2019. It's an excellent policy. That policy provides that Council will seek meaningful exchange with the community through engagement on local decision making, and that there will be genuine engagement will be encouraged in a manner that's consistent with the significance of the issue. Next slide, please. That policy has some principles, and one of the key principles are that decision makers are well informed and aware and take into account the community's views. And having a full public consultation process will enable those decision makers to be better informed. There's some additional context that can be provided. Both sides of the argument can be fleshed out, discussed, and councillors can be better informed. Just by way of an example, the council report that's been prepared notes that Class 4 expenditure has been relatively steady. If we were to give that a bit more context though, since 2004, per capita spend in inflation adjusted terms has in fact fallen by 50%. Next slide, please. The report that's been prepared also suggests there's a link between machine numbers and problem gambling rates. However, additional context could be provided, including the range of research and information that shows that we've had a 44% reduction in gaming machine number venues in New Zealand. We also had a 50% reduction in per capita spend. However, during that period, the problem gambling rate has remained absolutely unchanged. Being well informed also includes considering the adverse consequences or the unintended consequences of the policy, which includes the migration of the Class 4 spend, the gaming machine spend, to the local commercial casino and to the commercial online operators. 100% of our profits, the Class 4 profits, are returned to community grants. Christchurch Casino and the other casinos only return about 1.5 to 2% of their profits in community grants. The government has currently signalled that it will grant offshore-based online providers the ability to be licensed and operate lawfully in New Zealand, which will include the opportunity to market and advertise their offerings. But there's no suggestion that will include any requirement for community grants to be made. Taking into account the community views includes hearing from all the parties. One of the key players in the situation are the fact that the people that play the machines and enjoy playing the machines. There's no comment or reference from any player in the report that's currently before Council. Also gives Council the ability to hear from business owners, hear from the staff at the venues that do the harm minimisation work, do the room sweeps, speak to the players, deal with exclusion orders. And also, importantly, enables councillors to hear from the community groups and the members who receive funding. We received some fantastic stories at the various hearings of people that have had the funding, what they've been able to do from that. And we also hear from the funders of the services that would be required to be cut and the costs that would be imposed upon the people that use their services, the players, the members, if that funding wasn't available. The significance engagement policy also has as another principle that the level of engagement will be tailored to match the level of significance for each issue. And the gambling venue policy is a very, very significant policy. The policy has implications that go beyond simply public health. It impacts entertainment. People enjoy playing our machines. It's a matter of significant community funding. There's employment that's created. It also assists the local hospitality businesses to be commercially viable. Player entertainment is a big factor. People, as I said, people enjoy playing our machines, and approximately 70% of adult New Zealanders gamble at least once a year. The funding that comes from our machines is significant. 2023, approximately $30 million in local grants were made. Pub charity just by itself between November 2020 and July 2024 made $17.4 million in local grants to over 1,600 organisations. Public interest in gambling venue policies is always extremely high. Every time we go to a public consultation process, there's a large number of people there. I had one councillor once say to me that the only thing that attracts more interest than a gambling venue policy is a policy that relates to freedom camping. Next slide, please. There are benefits in consulting. If we were to consult, there is the option of including a relocation provision that could be discussed. You do need a public consultation process if you were looking to include that. Having a relocation provision is a harm minimisation tool. The ability to have relocation provisions is a relatively new provision that was introduced by the Maori Party as part of the Gambling Reduction Amendment Bill. And the aim is to enable venues to move away from undesirable areas to more suitable areas. Venues should be free to move out of high deprivation areas. Venues should be free to move out of residential areas, or venues should be free to move if they're close to a school, a community facility. There's no good policy reason for preventing that. And it is an issue. We have 44% of your venues currently located in very high or medium high deprivation areas. That's a concern, but they're currently locked in there. They don't have the ability to move. Enabling them to move to areas where they can come to council, put a case forward and say, this is a more desirable location, these are the benefits. But enabling council to consider that on a case-by-case basis is entirely appropriate. And as I said, there's no good policy reason for preventing that. Venues should also be free to move out of earthquake-prone buildings. This is a health and safety issue and very important to raise that today in particular. Venues should also be free to move to new, modern, vibrant premises that results in vibrant central business districts. If we prohibit relocation, that doesn't result in fewer machines. It just simply entrenches the current venues in undesirable locations and unsafe. There's no urgency or confidentiality that would justify doing away with the standard public consultation process. There is time and the ability to do so, and it's entirely appropriate that happen. Thank you, and welcome any questions that council may have.
Okay, yes, I have one. Councillor Harrison Hunt.
Kia ora. Thank you so much for coming in and talking. The thing I sort of can't understand yet is, can you elaborate a bit more on what a suitable site may be? I saw that there was central business district raised, but there obviously might be a cap. So are we talking about taking the machines from a more deprived area to a less deprived area?
Exactly. We're looking at taking a traditional large tavern that may be in a very high deprivation area in a residential area, and looking to move that into the central business district. And when that venue moves, it typically moves to be a newer, modern facility. It's smaller. It normally has a greater focus on food rather than the alcohol offering, and it usually has a more affluent clientele. Those are things that we consider to be positive.
Okay, last quick question, if that's right, Mr. Mayor, was around gambling harm itself. Would you be able to sort of tell us what you believe gambling harm stems from?
Well, gambling harm is an addiction that's caused by people that play for excessive periods and spend excessive money and lose control in relation to the time and money that's spent.
And could that correlate with the level of the jackpot that's given?
Possibly, but our machines offer a maximum prize of $500 and a maximum jackpot prize of $1,000. That is incredibly low. In the Christchurch casino, the prizes are unlimited. In the online space, the prizes are unlimited. So the prizes that we offer in our venues are already extremely, extremely low.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. You've managed to use up any time that was left, but we have 2 questions. Councillor McClellan. Quickly.
I was just going to ask, I'm interested in the argument that, you know, a lot of these pubs are just dying to move to more affluent areas if only they could take their pokie machines. But do you have any evidence of this, or is this anecdotal? Do you have many examples of members who are expressing a desire to actually do this?
Yeah, so normally when I do this presentation, given that I was limited for time, I didn't include it today, but normally I include the photos of venues that look like, you know, old school taverns where you got black singlets and white gumboots. I put those photos up and say, those are the venues. These venues were able to relocate. They were able to spend $3 million, $5 million on the fit out. And these are the photos of the new venue where it's a fantastic sports bar where there's craft beer on offering. And normally I put those reflections up. So what we're saying is there's no good policy reason for prohibiting that. If you allow it in your policy, it gives business owners the opportunity to know that that's an option for them and to explore that. And we can just see no good reason for not even allowing that conversation to take place.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
Councillor Templeton.
Thanks. Mine's actually, I guess, a follow-up from that one. Given that the types of figures that you were talking about there for fit out, those kind of things, are you saying that the ability to shift the gambling machines is of high enough value and that the businesses make enough money from their communities from them that it would deter them from moving into an area where they could make more money on their other sales, like from food and alcohol and stuff?
Yeah. So it's common in a hospitality venue for the gaming machine revenue that the venues get for hosting and supervising the machines to be around 40% of their total income. So if they were looking to move to a newer, modern facility, if they can't take that part of their entertainment mix and that part of their business with them, it just simply makes it uneconomical. Having the game machines is not their primary activity, but it's still a significant part of their business opportunity. Yeah. And if you were to take that away, it just simply makes it uneconomical to move.
So okay. That's really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Yana, we have run out of time. We're well over. Thank you, Jared. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next we'll hear from